Hello and welcome to the Metalheads podcast. My name is George.
I'm John.
And we are in Washington D.C. somewhere on the wharf, I guess it's called, and hanging out at Kieran's Irish Pub, I think it's called. So pardon the noise, but there are a great many people here on the day after St. Patrick's Day. I thought today would be kind of dead in here because of all the action being here yesterday, but anyway, we are here because Judas Priest, Saxon, and Black Star Riders are playing at the Anthem tonight, and John was good enough to pick up tickets for us, so here we are. Say hello, John.
Say hello, John. Yes, we're here for Priest in a new part of town. If you're not familiar with D.C., they upgraded this area. They put a whole new huge venue in, which is, I believe, related to the 930 Club, which is a very popular venue here. But this one holds like 6,000 people, and it's sold out. And there are already a lot of Priest fans hanging out in this bar right now, drinking and getting ready. And I anticipate this is going to be a fun night. Definitely.
Now, you have a better view of it than me, but is it safe to say that there's some big hair behind us?
Yes. There is some, I think I made the joke of Heavy Metal Parking Lot, which is a movie, I think, from, 85 or 86. And I think they were at a parking lot, were they, for a pre-show, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was like the old Capitol Arena or something like that.
It was the Cap Center, wasn't it?
Cap Center. Yeah, this is before my time.
Yeah. So, yeah, there's some people coming out here that are our age, maybe a little older.
Oh, dear.
Yeah, which is saying something. Yeah, so we get some big hair, we get some leather, some skin tights when there shouldn't be any skin tights.
Aquanet's going to be pleased with their sales figures come Monday.
Oh, God. It's going to be, hopefully nobody's smoking inside, with all that hair stuff. So, yeah, it's looking good so far. I think it's going to be a fun night.
We've got a couple hours yet before game time. We thought, the doors are early at 5:30, and so we said, hey, why not come down, have some food, have some beers, and just socialize for a little bit before the show, and check it out because, as I believe you may have already said, we have not been to this venue before. So, it should be fun. I mean, I like all three bands tonight to some extent or another. Priest, of course, destroying them all, but that makes sense. They're the headliner. Black Star Riders, if you're not familiar, is sort of like Thin Lizzy. It's like the one dude, what's his name from Thin Lizzy?
It's the guitarist thing, isn't it? I can't think of his name. I've drawn a blank, but
yeah,
I can't.
Yeah, I can't think of his name, but it's like one of the guitar players from Thin Lizzy back in the day, and they got a singer who sounds just like Phil Lynott. And
I think it's actually some other members that are members of Thin Lizzy, but they're not obviously part of the classic period, or they're no core members. I think they've been in the band for a little while, but so they kind of go back and forth, if I'm not mistaken. I joked with George, and I think I made his head explode a little. I'm like one of 23 people on planet Earth that doesn't really care about Thin Lizzy.
That's just crazy talk, man. Thin Lizzy's awesome. And yeah, so, I really respect that they decided to change the name to Black Star Riders as opposed to using the Thin Lizzy name, because they do Thin Lizzy stuff. And I'm according to Setlist, they're going to do Jailbreak tonight, which is going to be awesome because I was too young to see Thin Lizzy when Phil was alive, and this is the next best thing. And I've loved all three of their albums, so I'm really looking forward to seeing them. And then Saxon. I actually like Black Star Riders more than Saxon, only in that I know the material better. I don't listen to a whole lot of Saxon, some of the old stuff, Denim and Leather and whatnot. But Jay kind of got me into some of the more recent albums. And Thunderbolt, the new album, is really good. I was like, holy crap, okay, I need to go back and listen to this stuff like Jay's been telling me to do for a long time. Because, the one song they've been playing that's getting a lot of play is They Played Rock and Roll, which is their tribute to Motorhead. And that's a great song. And the title song, Thunderbolt, is really good. There's a Nosferatu track that's pretty good. And so yeah, I think I'm gonna. Whenever I go and say I got to go back and listen to Saxon, I always go back to the first few albums because I figure that's the classic stuff, and it never really grabs me all that much because it's just old school new wave British heavy metal, new wave of British heavy metal. Couple beers in, sorry, and but yeah, they're a little heavier now, a little more metal-like. So I guess I need to check that out.
I think you'll be surprised. I saw them 2 Prague Powers ago, I think they played. I think they played on a night with Armored Saint, and it was awesome. And they were heavy as anything. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised with their sound. You know what you get when you listen to Saxon.
Saxon.
Shut up, Jay. You're not. We've said this. I think Jay and I have talked about this before, and he's talked about it more than I have. You're not getting any new broken ground here, but they're very good at what they do. They're kind of the new wave British heavy metal version of Amorphis almost now, which I love everything Amorphis does. Not getting anything new, but it's always good. And I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. They'll bring a good show tonight.
That's awesome. Well, yeah, maybe I'll come out of here and load up my my phone with every Saxon album. And it's happened before. I've seen bands that have been around for years, or even bands that are relatively new that I didn't really think all that much of. And then after seeing them live, I saw them in a whole new light, and I just lost my mind for them. So,
well, that was me with Armored Saint. Same thing. I mean, I had never really listened too much. I knew them, but then I saw them. I was like, whoa, these guys are awesome live. So again, I think Saxon will be a good lead up to Priest at that point. And I think everyone's gonna be primed after those 2 bands. So,
I think that's really good pairing for sure. I mean, 70s British heavy metal. Doesn't have a lot of standard bearers bigger than those 2 bands. I mean, technically Iron Maiden started in the 70s, but they didn't really break until the 80s. So yeah. And then, Black Star Riders is at least reminiscent of the era, even if they're a more recent band. So definitely looking forward to it. And it's still a little cool outside, but it's warm enough that there are just people everywhere. I figured everybody'd be home with hangovers today. I did my St. Patty's Day on Friday due to scheduling issues, and so I was home hungover and feeling pathetic yesterday, and I kind of figured everybody'd be doing that. Oh, I see a Sabaton shirt. He's outside, but I can see him through the window. Looks like Sergey, actually. Sergey, are you here?
Is there a tank with it also, and like a flag?
Yeah, he was actually like popped out of the turret and like riding down.
Because every time I think of Sabaton, I just think that he should just ride a tank on the stage and just because they bring it live. I'm not a fan, but they definitely can bring it live. And
I really liked their first album, and I don't know why I never really listened to them after that because I fucking loved their first album. And I know they were here just like a week ago with Creator, and I really wanted to go, but given my circumstances of this past week, I didn't feel that I was able to take that time and go to it. And I wonder did you know if Will went? Because I know he was interested.
I didn't hear him say anything, so I'm not sure. We'll have to ask him later.
Yeah, I was going to be like, dude, Will, Creator's here. We got to go. And I just couldn't make it happen. So that's why we're recording here, not at Creator. So I don't know. So then Priest. What are you looking forward to from Priest?
I'm in the camp where I can live with the fact that Glenn Tipton's not playing. So I'm looking for anything. And what I mean by that is, it is what it is, the story. I mean, it's not like he bailed out on the band because he was a junkie, or there was a fight in the band. I mean, he's 70 years old, it happens. Live with it, deal with it. I'm looking forward to seeing them. I unfortunately saw a few clips live that I didn't want to see. They sounded great. What I'm looking for is just a good show. I could do without the pop hits like we were talking about earlier. They're going to play some of them, sure. But I could also be interested in some rare cuts or just seeing them, I think, more than anything else, because this might be our last time. So I'll take whatever I can get, personally.
Fair enough. Well, John is one of those people that doesn't like to know what's coming, so he doesn't look up the set lists beforehand. Me, I like to open my presents before Christmas. I like to know what's coming because, I don't like anticipating whether or not they're going to play my favorite track because then I get anxious towards the end of the set if I haven't heard it yet. And to reference our last episode where we did our top 5, they are not playing any of my top 5. So
with that said, it should be a really good show for me then, because Jay slipped a little bit when we were talking amongst ourselves and said, hey, I think they're playing a song that was on your list. I think it was on my list too. I'm like, oh, well, that was easy to figure out.
They are playing one off of your list. And but that said, I have nothing to complain about. It's a really good and varied set list. And even the songs from the albums that I'm less familiar with, I'm either familiar with the song or, I like it well enough that...
With you, not to cut you off, with you saying that makes me happy because I missed the Epitaph tour. And I'm kind of mad that I did because that's where they supposedly pulled out all the rarities they hadn't played before, like in a while, like Never Satisfied off the first album. I think they played Starbreaker, which was on my list, on that tour. Just did a lot of things they hadn't done in a while. And it was kind of to celebrate the band, and that's where this whole kind of KK Downey thing that's now present. He thought the band was going to retire at that point, and so he retired. And I don't know what the truth is on that whole thing, and I don't really care. So, but I'm mad that I missed that tour, and it sounds like we're sort of getting something similar to that, in that they're trying to pick off every album, here and there as they can. That makes that's awesome. I like when bands can try to do that. That's why I don't want to know what they're playing.
Yeah, I did sort of tell him a little bit and say that there are no songs off Redeemer of Souls, which kind of surprised me. I thought they'd at least play one off of there. And there's no songs off of Ram It Down, so My Dreams of Blood Red Skies are in ashes. And nothing from Nostradamus, I believe. And if you don't count Rock-a-Rolla, they're playing something off everything else. So I mean, you can't complain when you're getting a variety like that.
So they're actually okay. So they're playing some off a point of entry then.
Yes.
Okay. Fair enough.
I don't remember which one it is, but yeah.
Well, if it's any one of the three that I'm thinking of, then that's fine. I don't know if I need to go hot rocking again. I've done that already back in 1982.
I'm going to actually pull up my phone now and make sure I'm not missing one, because maybe I was wrong. Maybe they're not playing anything off point of entry. Let's pull that. Da-da-da. So while I'm looking for that, I wanted to talk about the fact that... oh, never mind. Here we are. Da-da-da. Okay, point of entry. Yep, I'm wrong. They're not playing anything off that either.
All right, fair enough.
That was the Heading Out to the Highway was what I was hoping that they would play off of that, because it's a popular song, but damn, I love that song.
Oh, yeah, I wouldn't necessarily call it a pop song, but I would call it a radio-friendly rock song. And it's a cool song. I saw them play that during the Scream for Engines tour, and it was very cool. The only other songs I'd really want to see would be like Desert Plains or Solar Angels off that. They're not going to play them. Fair enough, whatever.
That's a really good sing-along song. Heading out to the highway,
And he was still venturing into denim a little bit in that video. He still has the white T-shirt on in that. Yeah. They were leather, but for this song, I'm going to be a biker, And then it was just all leather going forward, So.
And spikes.
Yes. So I guess you have to pick and choose. How many motorcycle songs are going to be in the set. If they play Hellbent for Leather, okay, there's one. If they play Turbo Lover, there's two. I mean, at some point, does the band say, is this a biker show or is this a metal show? So.
Yeah. Do you think we'll see a motorcycle on stage?
Most definitely, we will see a motorcycle. I've seen him 3 times, and he's always had the motorcycle. It's usually in the encore. It's always usually been with Hellbent for Leather. Whatever,
All right. So, obviously, it's sad that Glenn is not going to be there, or at least he might be there, but he's not going to be playing the majority of the show even if he does show up. But we get Andy Sneap on the other guitar, and I'm actually anxious to see that, because I'm a big Andy Sneap fan. Whether he's playing or producing, the guy is just brilliant, and so I want to see how he sounds.
and I have a friend coming, friend Jeff coming, he might agree with me on this. He's kind of like the Steve Wilson of producers, but in metal. And I know there's a lot of prog fans that sneer at Steve Wilson's production work. I think he does a very good job. But Andy Sneap seems to just know what bands want, and he knows how to get it out of them. And he still gets what he wants out of it, which I think is key. And he doesn't Bob Rock it. Sorry, gonna say that. He just doesn't do that to it. And plus he plays. I think that makes a difference, so.
And he was in the original Sabbath, so.
Yeah. Sorry, we were almost doing a beer order there. Yeah, he's a good player. He can play. In the clip I saw him playing on, he sounded great. It is what it is, guys. We're at least getting 3 band members that have been in the band, a minimum of 28 years. For some reason, Priest has taken a lot of heat for this. I don't know why. Some people feel jilted. Let me ask you this, George. You're a good person to ask because you're a big Slayer fan. I realize that 2 of the key members that are original members in Slayer are still there, obviously. But there are only 2 original members in the band now. Slayer fans didn't seem to be too upset about that. I know they've had a revolving door on the drums a little bit, here and there, every few albums. It just happens at some point, your band changes for whatever reasons. And Slayer is more extreme than Priest, but it's a similar case where it was a health thing that caused the band to change. Obviously, with Jeff Hanneman passing away. So,
Yeah, with Slayer, what are you going to do? Would I prefer Dave Lombardo was in the band? Sure. Paul is a good drummer. He's a great drummer. Yeah. So I can't complain too much. He's got history with the band.
And don't you think him and Gary Holt, they treat it with respect that they're in the band, that they embrace the Slayer?
Sure. And and Jeff Hanneman, like you said, he died. There's nothing that can be done about that. Yeah. You either call it a day or you get somebody else. And if you're going to get Gary fucking Holt, then
exactly.
He's a legend in his own right. And if they had just brought in Joe fucking guitar player, that might have annoyed me a little bit. But Gary Holt, total respect for that guy, and he can play in Slayer, and I'll go see him, and I will give him all the respect he deserves.
And I realize my comparison is not a fair comparison because obviously Glenn Tipton didn't pass away, but he has a medical issue where he can't play anymore. It just seems some fans are really upset that they think Priest is kind of screwing them by going on tour. Whatever. If you don't like it, don't go. I understand why people want to see Glenn Tipton. I get it. I don't know if it's as nefarious as some people are making it out to be.
Yeah, and like they said, this was in the books and planned and ready to go up until a couple of weeks before the tour. So it makes sense that they're not just going to scrap the whole thing and call it a day. But at the same time, we were speculating that this might be the last tour. And if that was the case, I would respect that because it is really only then the Rob Halford show, essentially. Yes, Scott Travis has been with the band for a very long time.
Ian Hill's been in the band.
God damn it, I knew there was somebody else. I always forget Ian. Ian.
Let me ask you this, all right? So you guys know I like Sabotage, but I'm more of a 80s, early 90s Sabotage fan. And their revolving door they've had, especially with John Oliva.
Yeah.
So say Tipton can play in the studio. Say he just can't play live. Could you live with that? If Priest did that where Andy Sneap stayed with them and played with them, but Tipton's writing the music, he's playing the music in the studio. He just can't perform the rigors of a 2-hour show 100 times a year. If they continued, would that bother you if they did that?
No, it wouldn't bother me.
I actually think it would be kind of cool if they could do that. As much as I want to see Glenn play, and we all want to see him. We all want to see KK play with them too. Although Richie is a really good guitarist. Yeah, okay, fair enough.
Yeah, I kind of wish that KK hadn't been kind of a dick about this whole thing, because maybe there would have been at some point, after the tour, maybe they would have said, all right, well, we want to continue, so let's bring KK back. And I think him just stuffing his both feet in his mouth like that really kind of closed the door on that possibility.
I think what started out as maybe not being as extreme as it turned out to be, and it wasn't extreme. I can't think of the right word to say. I don't think he thought it would blow up like it did, and I sort of see somewhere where he's coming from, but I actually see where the band's coming from too, though. I can see both points. I see the band's point more, though, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, when I read the original post, I didn't think KK really was like making digs to the point that of what the way Rob took it. But at the same time, I understand why Rob felt the need to do what he did, and I can't say that he's wrong.
I think the comment that got me a little bit wasn't so much where he made, oh, maybe Andy's playing on the album, maybe he's not. Okay, whatever. You knew that was going to happen. I think the comment that kind of surprised me was him saying, well, this just kind of proves my point that they never really appreciated me to begin with. And I thought, where did that come from? I didn't expect that, which sort of kind of took me down the Queensryche road a little bit, and I'm like, I hope it doesn't turn into that. And it started to. It seems like the band has sort of squashed it a little bit. I mean, all three guys, Ian Hill, Scott Travis, and Rob Halford, all come out and have said something now. And they were surprised at the comments, but they didn't trash them to the point like how Queensryche just went literally into dumpster fire, when that thing happened. So hopefully it dies down and maybe they could do something later. Even just for one show, if they could do that,
Yeah, when KK left, they spun it at least that, we're all friends and everything, but he's just stepping down. But then it's things like this that make you realize there was probably more going on than they let on, and just for PR sake, they made nice. But there's really some sort of beef there.
And given the band's history and who they are, and obviously Rob Halford, a little bit of a trailblazer more than he probably would want it to be early on, they've been a quiet band personally. There hasn't been much out of them, so maybe this is just because they're not used to this situation. I don't know. We'll take it for what it is,
I was wondering earlier, I don't remember, was there ever a reason given why Rob left in the first place? Do you know anything about that? Like, was it a fight, or was it an amicable parting and he just wanted to do other things? I really do not remember.
I don't remember either, to be honest with you. And it's not like Priest immediately replaced him and jumped on. I think Maiden did it a lot quicker when Bruce left, didn't they? I think it was only a couple years later. I mean, Priest waited 7 years, I think? When did Jugulator come out? Was it like 97?
That sounds about right.
Yeah, and Painkiller was 2000 or 90. So I think they took their time, and I don't know. Obviously, it wasn't that big of a deal because he's back in the band, and it seems like everyone's getting along from I don't know. Who knows? I don't know.
Yeah. So, hey, if you hear this and you happen to know that, hit us up on Facebook or something and let us know why did Rob leave. And, hey, if you're Rob, get a hold of us yourself and tell us. Because we'd love to hear from you. All right. Well, do you have anything else before we...
No, I'm just looking forward to a good show. Hoping the body holds up a little bit because I'm dealing with a little bit of a knee issue. Without saying too many more ums, just want to have a good sounding show, a lot of crowd participation. Hope this isn't the last time, but if it is, I hope it goes out on a high note. So
we seem to be doing a lot of that. We saw the last Sabbath, and we're seeing the last Slayer. I felt like there was one other, but
I was, the last Rush tour, which I know they're not a metal band, but that one was a little hard to take because you sort of knew it was going to happen, but they hadn't announced it yet. So we're seeing a lot of our early on high school, late grade school heroes are moving on. They have to at some point, just like we all do. So hopefully this isn't the last, but if it's happening, I'm going to say it. Another band is getting close. George is going to stab me in the eye if I mention Iron Maiden. Hopefully it's not, but if it is, I hope it's a great show.
Yeah. All right, well, we're going to let you go now. We're going to do a post-mortem at some point, and we'll tack that on the end here and let you know how it did turn out. So until next time, see ya.
Later.
Hello, this is George.
And this is John.
And this is the Judas Priest post-mortem.
Yes.
Yes. So you heard what we thought going into the show, and now you get to hear what we think after the show. It's been 2 days, so we've had a little time to marinate on it. And I've found time to get sick in the process. So pardon my sniffles and whatnot.
That sucks, especially with our crappy weather coming.
Indeed. Yeah, yesterday it was 62 and sunny. Today it's 32 and snowing.
Are you guys actually getting snow right now in your place?
Yep, we got like 3-4 inches, and just I don't know, about 20 minutes ago it was coming down really hard, but it slowed down again when I was coming here. It's just like comes in spurts.
We have rain and some flurries, and that's it down on my end. So
yeah.
Okay, so that's your Metalheads podcast weather report. We're going to go to traffic now.
Yes, traffic was actually pretty good. But anyway, yeah, so, the first thing when we walked in, both of us, our jaws, see, it's still not working right, hit the floor, the quite immense and massive floor, because this has got to be the biggest indoor non-arena place I have ever seen.
Yeah, I agree. The place was massive, and for a general admission place with limited seating.
Yeah, and what's funny is it's obviously patterned after a venue template now, because it looked a lot like the Fillmore in Philly, where the Decibel Fest is. But like on steroids.
Oh yeah, dwarf that place completely. I mean, you could put that whole venue inside of Anthem and probably still have room.
And still have room for a 9:30 club.
Yeah, I mean, it almost felt like we were at like an arena, like say wherever town you're from, where your local basketball or hockey professional teams play, or some college teams. I mean, it was just that big inside. It was massive.
Yeah, we were beforehand wondering, it's odd that they're playing in this general admission venue when, like, before and after they're playing in like arenas and coliseums. And I was like, oh, that's a little strange. It makes sense now that we've seen the place. It's huge.
Yeah, and I think it's max 6,000, and I think they got pretty close. I think they considered it a sellout.
Yeah, it was. You couldn't get more tickets.
No, and there was hardly any room. There was just a little bit of room in the back. But when we walked downstairs, I was a little surprised to see people were standing. There's like these risers in the back of the venue where the board is. But it's like a huge section, and it's like these giant, like slabs, I guess you call it. They go for what, like 10 feet, then they go up about a foot. Maybe not as big, but there were people all the way behind those. There were people on the stairs that were coming down, looking through, the gap between the ceiling and the floor.
Yeah,
but it was cool though to see that many people there.
Definitely. Talking about the sellout reminded me of a side note. So I'm going to go off on a tangent here for a second. Friday night, I was going out to pick up some beer and pizza, as a matter of fact, and I stopped to get some gas. I've already told these guys the story, but I got to tell this. And I'm at the gas station. I'm pumping gas. I'm wearing my Testament hoodie, and I get so much mileage out of this Testament hoodie because I'm sitting there pumping gas, and this dude goes, "No way, is that a Testament hoodie?" And I turn around, and he's like, "No way, is that an Amon Amarth shirt?" And it's a dude like at least my age, total gray beard, dressed, polo shirt, like, whatever. He just came from the office. His wife's in the car, and he just starts chatting me up about, Testament and Amon Amarth. And I mentioned, I'm going to the Judas Priest show on Sunday. And he was like, "Oh, man." He's like, "I really wanted to go to that, but it was sold out." So, anyway, it's just so cool to just randomly run into people like this. Like, not that long ago, I was wearing the Testament hoodie at the Olive Garden, and the girl came up to me and asked me about the Slayer show. It happens all the time.
Did you get some extra free breadsticks because of that?
No, damn it.
I thought it was all you could eat.
Yeah. Well, not if it's takeout.
Good point.
Yeah. But anyway, I just thought it was really cool that this dude just randomly talked to me in public at a gas station about metal. And I told him about the podcast, so maybe he's listening, in which case, what up, dude?
Well, like we always tell people, you may not know we're there, but we're there. We're everywhere.
Yes.
So
we are faceless, nameless, and pervasive.
To name a few.
And persuasive. Anyway, back to the show.
Yes.
So first thing we did after picking our Joes up off the floor was hit the merch booth. And I purchased surprisingly, my first Judas Priest t-shirt.
It's my first one since 1982. When I had, as I was joking with you about my long sleeve, like softball jersey. So the shirt was like gray, but the sleeves were black. My Screaming for Vengeance tour shirt. So
I always thought those were so cool. I remember seeing Priest ones and Maiden ones and Van Halen ones.
Oh, yeah. Yep. And you had to wear those like above the knee shorts and those really long white socks.
Yeah, that's
Won't
the
talk
80s
about that
for you.
anymore.
No, but sometimes you see it and you cringe.
Oh God! Or you see the dudes in the jeans with no T-shirt on and the high tops, the white high tops. You're like, oh God, why?
Yeah. So then, after we got our merch, we headed onto the floor and just sort of marveled a little bit about the cavernous space that we were in. And we were trying to figure out where to stand. We were like, what the hell? I mean, this place is huge. Where do you stand? And correct me if I'm wrong, but at that point was when the usher guy said something to us, or did you say something to him?
Yeah, I don't know what I asked him. I asked about the bathrooms because, of course, I'm right away thinking, oh, great, we've been drinking beer for, I don't know what, 2 or 3 hours.
It was like 3 hours, yeah.
3 hours before. I'm like, I'm going to have to be like an old man and have to go like 9 times. And so I just said, hey, are there bathrooms, are these just them? He's like, no, we got them on every floor. And it just led into him saying, have you guys been upstairs? You should check it out upstairs. There's actually some pretty cool places to stand up there. I guess, so there was like these boxes, I guess you would call them.
And
open boxes.
And you know what they reminded me of? I mean, obviously like opera boxes or like, Abraham Lincoln shoot you in the head boxes.
Yeah.
But it also reminded me of the Imperial, not the Imperial, but the Senate in Star Wars. Where all the people in their little modular boxes and stuff.
See, if that were the case, then I definitely would pay the $75 to $100 for a seat, and we could reel that thing right down in front of the stage.
Yeah, I can't quite see. Move it in a little closer.
Yeah, so just real quick, he said, go up there. You guys should check it out. And we're probably like, okay, thinking, yeah, all right, whatever. It's nice that he offered, but so we decided to head up. And we got up there and we're like, whoa, this is actually kind of cool because you can stand right behind these little boxes. There's like 2 rows of standing.
It's basically like at the Fillmore in Silver Spring, but you pay for, well, I mean, there was like 2 rows of seats and then 2 rows of standing, and you had to pay for the seats just like you would at Fillmore, right. Although I think you can actually buy them because I didn't see any place where they were selling it like they do at the Fillmore where they sell you a ticket and then sell you another ticket.
I think you buy those when you initially buy the tickets. So if you go like to Ticketmaster or Live Nation, whatever, I think they're already sold through there. That's the difference in the price.
Yeah.
So oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was going to say. So we were in the standing row that was behind the seated row, and this was up on the 3rd floor, by the way. There's 3 floors.
Yeah, and the 2 rows behind each one of these like 2 rows of boxes, like the row we were in. The row behind us was up at least 2.5 feet. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's a good amount, with the railing behind us. It was tiered. And so if the people were standing in front of us in the rows, they might block part of the stage. But I think we would have had a decent view even with people standing for the most part.
Yeah. And what was really cool was like in the back, like if you're, from the stage looking directly to the opposite end of the venue, both on the 2nd and 3rd floor, there was tiered standing, like much larger tiered standing.
Right.
And there were even a couple couches in there that you could sit on.
Yeah, it was wild. I mean, the place was just cool. If you really want to get a good indication of the venue, I would definitely check out the post that George put up of, was it the Ripper you put up there?
Yeah.
I think on the Facebook page. And what that'll at least do will give you how the view was for us, because all the pictures we took, obviously it looks like we're, in a canyon, like looking 3 miles down.
Yeah.
But you're the way you zoomed in was probably just about what we were looking at the whole night, the actual real
Perspective.
distance.
Yeah.
And even though it was on the third floor, and even though there was a little bit of a vertigo issue.
Yeah,
there,
I'm a big wuss like that.
don't worry. There were a couple times I just kind of turned a little funny, and I got wobbly, and I was easily 3 feet from the railing.
Yeah. It's like we were like directly across from like the lights and things like that. So if I as long as I looked at the stage and didn't look around, I was pretty good.
And it was kind of funny because at some point, my friend Jeff, who George has been now a couple shows, I think.
Yeah, he was at the Devon
Death
and
Fest,
Death
and
Fest.
Devon Townsend. He was really into the show, and he was jumping up and down, and he was standing next to the railing, and next to our railing on the side, it went straight down to the first floor.
Yeah.
But the next railing was what, I guess 3 feet away from it, which would be the next section where the next box was. And I kept thinking, man, he's going crazy. He's going to fall over the railing and go.
I couldn't look at him. It made my butthole pucker up just looking at that.
Then I realized he was holding on the railing most of the time too, and he was doing that. But
Still, I mean, just looking over there made me dizzy.
yeah, it just 930 Club is cool. That's very quaint now compared to this place.
Yeah.
Which is the same owners, I believe, or same group.
Yeah, based on what the usher was saying.
Yeah. So, but to the show, what were your thoughts?
Overall thoughts was it was a really good show. The first band to come on was Black Star Riders, a band that I am familiar with, a band that I enjoy. Basically, it's Scott Gorham from Thin Lizzy and some other people that I know at least the singer, I want to say his name's Ricky something.
Yeah, Hackett or something like that. Isn't it?
He sang, as replacement singer in Thin Lizzy, and possibly some of the other people are part of that as well. And so when they decided to do new music, instead of calling it Thin Lizzy, they called it Black Star Riders, which is a decision I greatly respect. Putting little distance there on the new material. And I like them, but unfortunately, the sound was terrible.
Minus the last song.
It was just incredibly bassy, which I was like, oh, that's the problem you get when you have a big venue. Because, Verizon Center or Capital One Arena, whatever you want to call it. When we went to see U2 at the Heinz Field in Pittsburgh, anything that's large like that, the bass is just terrible and you can't make things out. And I was like, oh, this is going to suck. But yeah.
But it got better from that last song from their set. It got better for Saxon, and then it was much better for Priest.
Yeah, Priest sounded great. So no complaints on the sound after Black Star Riders. Did you have any thoughts on Black Star?
They didn't bother me. Like I said in the pre-show stuff, I'm just one of those people that never got into bands like Thin Lizzy or UFO, which I kind of lumped together because they're similar type of hard rock bands. They never did it for me. I don't dislike them, just never got into them. Mm-hmm. I'm sure there's stuff, if I really delved in deep, I would probably like some songs by both bands. I guess by not getting into them, I never saw the hype.
I mean, how can you not like Jailbreak? I know that's like the biggest song, but come on, it's a great song.
Well, Jailbreak and the boys are back in town. I mean,
Emerald, hello.
Yeah, Emerald's cool. I mean, everyone's covered it.
Yeah.
Again, I don't dislike them. I just never got into them. It just was one of those bands that, with that said, they played well. They were I thought they did a nice job they were the hard rock act.
Yeah.
Saxon was the, new wave of British heavy metal band. And then Priest was, the metal band. So it was a nice build up to get to Priest.
Yeah, I felt Black Star Riders definitely brought it. They had the energy, and I could tell that the singer was doing a good job singing, and they had the power. They just didn't have a clear sound, and so that was unfortunate.
Now you'd said that that drummer, if you didn't know any better, you thought he would have been in Blink 182 because of all his tattoos and stuff.
Yeah, and he had like a baseball cap on, and I was just like, huh, is that Travis Barker down there? Who was that?
I believe he is or was in Breaking Benjamin. So there you go.
That explains it.
And I only know that because I looked it up today.
Decided to try doing some good music for a change, huh?
No, I just went on Wikipedia to see who they were.
No, I meant him, the drummer.
Oh, yeah, I guess so. He's been in a bunch of bands, but no, they were a solid opening act. They played for a long time. I think they got about 35 minutes on stage.
Yeah.
So.
And the other thing that was, I guess, impressive was the changeovers were really quick.
They did not waste any time. So I think they went on, Black Star Riders went on at 6:55, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, they stuck to the schedule of doors at 5:30, band on at 7. Oh, by the way, and I don't know if this is indicative of the venue, but I'm going to give hats off to the venue for being such a big place. We literally walked right in with no issues on a general admission show.
Yep.
I thought for sure there'd be a line going in, and it was pretty smooth.
Yeah, it was painless.
So they played about 35 minutes. I think the changeover was quick, and I think Saxon was on by 7:55 roughly, weren't they? It was 10 till or something. I mean,
it was before the turning of the hour.
Yeah, and I think they played for 45 minutes roughly.
Mm-hmm.
And we actually, I think, got an extra song from them too. We got 11 songs from them.
Yeah, because normally they were closing with Denim and Leather, and he's like, "We got time for one more." Well, I can't do his totally awesome accent. Also, mostly incomprehensible accent.
I thought they were good too. I mean, I've seen Saxon before, and you know what you're going to get when you see them. I think Jay has always said that about all their albums. I know their early stuff, and Jay's obviously way more versed in the band. But you know you're getting with them. They bring it when they play. And as I told you, friend, they were going to be a lot heavier than you heard on album, and they were.
Yeah. I'm going to go on record and say that both you and Jay were correct in the statements that you made about sax on.
Sax on,
sax off.
When they played, it was at Dallas, 1 a.m. or 1 p.m., whatever
1
it is.
1 p.m., yeah. Man,
that was just brutal, that song.
Mm-hmm.
Not like rough. I mean, it just was heavy. It was fast, and it sounded really good. It's one of the songs I like by them a lot.
And they seem to go new song, old song, new song, old song, new song, old song.
Yeah, I mean, we got a good. I think it was a decent bit of the early period and the more recent stuff. So considering a band's got 18 or 19, 20 studio albums, so.
Yeah, they played like Thunderbolt and the Nosferatu song, and
which was cool.
The Secret of Flight, and they played Rock and Roll off of the new album. All those songs.
Not Queen of the Night. What is the one they played? Give me a second here.
Yeah, you got the set list.
Talk amongst yourselves. I'll give you a topic. Princess of the Night. Sorry, my bad. They played the Motorhead song. They played Rock and Roll. I think you just said that, didn't you?
Yeah, and I also recorded that, videotaped it, and put it on the Facebook as well if you want to see it.
Yeah, so we got a good set from them. A solid set, I thought.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely made me want to go and investigate their catalog a little more.
Yeah, I actually went back and was listening through the early first 4 or 5 albums. There's a lot of good stuff on there.
Mm-hmm.
That new wave of British heavy metal, everyone thinks right away of Iron Maiden, and not so much Priest, because Priest was already around for X number of years. But they forget that, Saxon and Def Leppard in their first 2 albums were pretty heavy, but not like full-on metal bands. They were really good hard rock metal bands.
Mm-hmm.
So there's some good stuff in there.
Yeah. I'm glad I finally got to see them.
Yeah, they're cool.
I want a Saxon shirt now.
Yeah, but I don't know which one I want.
Yeah, they had a cool one. It was like a gray on black, but they didn't come in Germondo size. So,
big old lightning bolt down the side.
Yeah. So then it was Priest.
Yes, and I don't know how you felt about it going in. I was psyched to see them, but I was just a little apprehensive because I didn't know how it was going to play out, given that Glenn Tipton wasn't there, and without really belaboring it, so many people, it seems like either you're just gung-ho for the show or you were just a Mr. Poopy Pants about the band online, at least from what I was reading. So I was trying to keep it even keeled and say, hey, if it doesn't play too well tonight, hey, it was fun while it lasted. But
we got to drink a lot of beer.
Yeah, but at the same time, I was really hoping that it was awesome, and I thought it was a great show. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was better than I expected. The sound quality was great. The music sounded good. Rob sounded mostly good. He needed a little warming up on the first song or two. And there's something I'll get to in a little bit later that was curious. But on the whole, it was really cool. And the show started off, and the previous two bands, they just did the changeover, and right there, and you could see them changing over. But for Priest, they put up this giant red banner with the Priest like pronged logo thing on it, and a bunch of like lyrics and stuff, so that they could in secret set up the stage. Which, wow, that was an impressive stage show. That the setup anyway. When the thing came down and there they were, it was like, damn.
Yeah, it had a little 80s, to Painkiller flair to it on the stage, a little bit there. And they came out and just kicked right into it. And I tried really hard not to know what they were going to play, although I knew the first two songs, and it didn't make a difference because I was just excited enough as it was to hear them.
Like a little girl?
I was an excited little boy, yes.
Spring.
Yeah, just because they've been really concentrating, if you look back at their set list, minus the Epitaph tour, where they made a point of playing songs they hadn't played before in a long time. Their last X number of tours since Rob's been back, they've been trying to pick out a song here or there, a couple songs that they haven't played in a while or haven't played before. So I've gotten to see some cool songs on the limited tours I've seen since the reunion, and they did not disappoint. As a matter of fact, I learned yesterday that there were songs that I thought I had seen live that I never saw in the set, so that was kind of cool too.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the first couple of songs, there was just this, backdrop, which was a very cool backdrop, and there's pictures of it on the Facebook if you want to check it out. And then it rose up out of the way, and there was a giant screen, and after that we were treated to, the typical, some sort of animation or something going on related to each song. Like for The Ripper, there was all the stuff about Jack the Ripper, and it wasn't Firepower. What was the...
Lightning Strike.
Lightning Strike. There was that, and was that the one that had all the the album cover? That was something else. Evil Never Dies, maybe?
Evil Never Dies was the cover. So I guess with the Rippers, when they first got it going,
yeah,
and so the first two songs they did, like you said, The Ripper and Lightning Strike, were specific to those songs. Then they did a thing for the next song, which was Bloodstone, where the album cover kind of just morphed onto the screen.
Yeah.
And so you're like, oh, they're going to play a song from this album cover, but you didn't know what they were going to play, obviously, because Rob Halford didn't talk much during the show at all. So that was kind of cool. And I know that you knew once you saw that if that continued, that at some point it would be happy time for John in the show.
Yes. Why don't you talk about your happy time?
So I know this is hard to believe, but it really happened. I was at a Judas Priest show. So they did Bloodstone, which I was happy about. And at this point, I was already happy because they played Running Wild, which I'd never seen. It's the first time they played that with Rob Halford since 1980. They played it, I think, with Ripper Owens, but I wanted to see it with Rob Halford. And the song I'd never seen before, which I thought I'd seen, which you would have thought because they always play, is Grinder. I've never seen them play Grinder before. And I didn't realize that till yesterday. So... And then Sinner and Ripper, and I was down on Ripper, and George convinced me to be up on Ripper, and I thought it was great. So now I'm back on the
I
Ripper
love that
wagon.
song so much. I always forget about it until I hear it. And then I'm like, oh, I really love this song.
Yeah. So we were treated to an interesting set at that point of new songs and really old songs, not just older songs, really old songs back to the 70s. And then they played Bloodstone, which I know is not your favorite off the album. I like Bloodstone a lot, and I threatened to hit you with the Bloodstone if you didn't like it.
No, it was good. It was good. I thought it had a little more kick to it than the studio version.
Right. And then like all of a sudden the stained glass cover comes on the screen, and right away you guys are looking at me, and Jeff yells out, "What is it? What is it?" And I made a hazard guess, and I said, "Oh, it's going to be stained glass," because I know Halford's been playing it solo, and they rip into Saints in Hell, and
He lost it.
yeah, I think I was the loudest person in the venue.
Yeah.
I was just Jay almost gave it away in a private conversation with us. He was like, "Oh, dude, have you seen the list? They're playing something off, I think, your list." I'm like, "Oh, which list?"
Yeah, so like in the last episode, we did our top 5 songs we wanted to hear, essentially.
Right.
And none of mine made it, but this one did off John's.
Yeah, and that made the whole evening for me, for Priest. So,
And while they were playing it, the screen, this was probably the coolest backdrop of the night, except for perhaps the fire, the
yeah, it was kind of cool, actually.
but it was like a red screen, blood red screen with like silhouette, figures. In fact, they even had like little sticks coming off them, like it was a light puppet show kind of thing. And there was a dude who was apparently a saint, and he was in hell, and there was grasping hands and demons, and it was very visually awesome.
Yeah, and it wasn't like a Nightmare Before Christmas type animation, but it was sort of similar to that type of animation. So we weren't getting like, what kind of a band? Like, it wasn't a Manowar cover, with this, like the artwork you see on the side of a van in the 70s with the dude who's like half naked in a loincloth and a sword, and a naked woman, on a horse together. It wasn't like that, but it was, and it wasn't like the Nightmare on Christmas, A Night Before Christmas, or whatever. That artwork, it was similar to that a little bit. So it wasn't cheesy, but it was also not super stylish either.
Right.
I guess I would say. But it was cool. I actually thought it was cool. So, because the colors were cool during the song. So if you're taking pictures, you got some really neat backdrop from that.
Yeah.
So, yes, that was the highlight for me. So at this point, half the show, I'm just like, all right, whatever. I can go home now. So.
Yeah, I don't know what my favorite song of the night was.
Well, they went into the big sing-along right after that. They did Turbo Lover.
Yeah, and the women started dancing.
Oh, yeah, I was like, oh, boy. He was like, I felt like I was Beavis. Oh, no. It was one of those. So, and then the surprise song, which I've seen before, but I'd forgotten, they did Angel, which I guess that was just a chance to give them a bit of a break during the show. Mm-hmm. So.
Since they don't do drum solos anymore, thank God. I was actually thinking that during the show. I was like, I am really glad that people generally don't do drum solos anymore.
Yeah, I know. I mean, if it's a 2-minute thing where it just gives the band a chance to get a breather, I don't have a problem with that, because that's not too much to watch.
When it's like 10 minutes.
Yeah,
That's
I'm one of you're not going to find a bigger Rush fan. Every Rush fan says that.
There are obviously exceptions that make sense. And there was another drummer that I saw within the last couple of years who did one, and it was like, it makes sense because this is a legend and they need to shine.
Well, even after 30 years of seeing Rush, that was my bathroom break.
Yeah.
At some point, I was like, I'll just watch the video when it comes
Sorry,
out.
Neil.
I've seen him so many times. But then the song George had mentioned, which was the album cover, came onto the screen, and we got to see that character, which Priest is known for their characters on their covers, for Evil Never Dies. And that was kind of cool because it didn't show what it was shooting. It just showed it shooting, from its hands or whatever. And I thought that was kind of cool how they did that.
Yeah, it was cool. It was sort of like having like a mascot, if you will, even though it's just for one album. And so the only other thing that really stands out to me is Painkiller. And there were 2 or 3 reasons that Painkiller stood out. And Painkiller was the last song of the regular set. First thing was Rob's vocals he sang great all night. I mean, but he had this really, it was like a kid trying to imitate a witch. It was like painkiller. It was just a little strange. And I don't know, maybe he couldn't hear what he was doing, or. However, it was pretty evil. And then the other thing was, he previously for Hellbent for Leather, of course, they brought out the motorcycle. And while he was singing Painkiller towards the end, he was leaning over the bike, because whenever he would go high, he would like bend at the waist and just scream into the microphone. And so towards the end of the song, he was leaning over the bike and just belting it out, which, of course, there was no. Anyway, and when the song finished, the camera had close up on him, and he's like leaning over the saddle of the bike, and his sides are just heaving. Like he's just completely winded. I was like, man, he gave it all.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
The third thing, and this was the part that choked me up, was during Painkiller, during the solo, while Richie was playing, on the video screen was old black and white footage of Glenn Tipton soloing. And I was just like, I'm a little girl now. And
yeah, I was kind of hoping that meant he was going to come out for like the next song or something, but because apparently he is on tour with them. It's just he's not going to play unless he's having a really good day. So
you think maybe he could at least come out and take a bow or something, but it was a nice little tribute anyway.
Right. So, yeah, and then the encore came, and the encore was almost like their super hits, all wrapped up in one. It was actually, if you think of a band putting together their best songs in an encore, people might disagree, but from their 80s material, early 80s material, I should say, it was a pretty good selection of songs, even though I've seen them all.
Yeah.
Every time I've seen them live.
Yeah, there were 4 songs in the encore, and
Electric Eye, Metal Gods, you got Nothing Coming and Living After Midnight, which okay, I get it,
Yeah.
It's good encore though.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't think they were going to play Metal Gods because they usually do that earlier in the show.
Yeah.
And that was a little bit of a surprise. It was cool, but it was a little bit of a surprise.
My one critique of Rob at this point, and maybe he just was spent from that Painkiller, but for both Electric Eye and Metal Gods, he didn't do the choruses at all. He totally went to the crowd for the choruses, and I was like,
yeah,
I don't know, maybe he's spent, but I really wanted to hear him sing the chorus for Metal Gods. And
I will say, as someone who's lived in this area now in Northern Virginia and D.C. for, going on 23 years now, this is not the biggest sing-along area for shows, I've noticed.
Mm-hmm.
We got some for, Breaking the Law, which I sang Washing the Dog to.
Washing the dog, washing the dog.
I'm not going to sing Breaking the Law. But I was hoping that, I was kind of wishing the fans would have sang more during the songs, but they didn't do as much. So
they're probably mostly old, and they're like, what? What did you say?
Yeah, exactly. Metal Rods. What are Metal Rods?
Isn't that a different band? The Rods, what I'm saying? Yeah. Anyway.
But overall, I was pleased with the show. I knew what it was going in. I knew it wasn't the actual Priest that everyone wanted to see. It is what it is. It's the way I'm looking at it.
It's the best you're going to get at this point.
I think so, too. And we get to still see them. There's still 3 guys in the band that have been there. Those 3 guys have been there, for a long time. As a matter of fact, it's funny, since Scott Travis came back in the band, he's actually been in the band consecutively longer than Rob Halford at that point. He disappeared for, I guess, long time? 15 years? 14 years?
Yeah.
So maybe not that much, but I know people seem to forget about him all the time. He's their longest standing drummer in the band, which is not saying much for a band that's had a gazillion drummers. But
the guy playing guitar for Glenn that is like my favorite producer ever, and I can't think of his name right now.
Andy Sneap.
Andy Sneap, thank you. Looking at him on stage, he looked like Matt, a.k.a. Dad of Northern Darkness, to me. I think it's just probably like the shape of his head and his beard, but I was like, hey, it's Matt. How you doing, Matt?
Well, if it was Matt, I'd be like, dude, seriously? You don't give us a call beforehand?
Yeah, where's the backstage passes, dude?
Get a beer beforehand?
Yeah. So, all right. Well, that's pretty much it. I do want to point out that getting to the place was pretty darn easy. I drove, and there's a parking lot literally 1 block from the venue. Granted, I had to give them a kidney. It was ungodly expensive to park there, but it was damn easy to get in and out.
Yeah. And I think Jeff parked like 4 blocks away, and still that wasn't. And that's a really busy street down there now. It's Main Street, as in the state of Maine, Maine. I did not have as easy a time getting out because my Uber driver, which was great when he got there, he actually drove down back by the venue, which I didn't think they allowed cars back there, and he got hung up in all that traffic in that circle right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so people would know what we're talking about. They're not from here, but it just took me about an extra 10 minutes to get out of there.
Oh, that's funny. I was all like, I need to get out of here. I
still got home. I still got home before you, but that's all right.
Yeah. So have we confirmed that Jeff's car was still there? Because he was worried that it wasn't going to. He was like, it's so easy. Yeah. I hope my car's still there at the end of the night, that it wasn't like a place I'd get towed.
Yeah, I finally heard from him. He didn't get to bed till real late because he lives in Pennsylvania.
Ah, right.
So I heard from him later on after the next day after the show. So, but it was a good time. I had a good time hanging out with you guys, and it was fun to see them again. I don't know if we'll get a second leg. We might, but if not, then I'm satisfied getting to see one last time. So.
Yep, me too. All right.
Cool.
Well, this will have to hold you over for a little while, but the guys are going to be up at Decibel Metal Decibel Metal and Beer Fest in like a week and a half. So maybe we'll get some good stuff out of there to hold you over till the next episode.
Hopefully we do. Hopefully we can talk with Adam again. I'd like to do that, and maybe we can get a few other people that we know up there.
I'd like you to get, if you can, get Albert too.
I was just going to say.
I realize that he's like the busiest man in entertainment that night, running around everywhere. But, maybe you can grab him for a couple minutes.
Yeah, just a few. See how he's doing and see how things going with the festival. And I'm sure we'll have no problems talking to someone who knows someone that knows a band.
Since he's not working the beer booth this time.
Yeah,
should play out a little better.
Not. So it'll be fun, and Jay will get his first taste of the festival. So
excellent,
cool.
All right, well, until next time, we remain the Metalheads podcast.
See ya.